Hi, everybody. Welcome and thank you for coming today to our Know Your Rights workshop. We have Claudio here from TODEC Legal Center here to present a great presentation about Know Your Rights. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. This will be recorded and posted on YouTube for all of you who haven't been able to come today. Claudio, take it away.
Okay, to send?
Whenever
Okay.
you're ready.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, everybody. Good morning. My name is Claudio Coren. I'm the attorney for TODEC Legal Center. Our organization is a non-profit organization, a community-based. We are located in offices in Coachella City, Perris, Victorville, in the counties of Riverside, San Bernardino, Inyo. And we work already almost 40 years with the community, for the community, offering services, limited legal services to naturalization, renovation of green card and DACA, and working in policy making, helping, working with legislators to try to impose new legislation, helping the community. Today, I would like to talk about the rights. What are your rights? We are living in a uncertain times. We know that the current administration is not too friendly with the immigrant communities. We know their attempts to terminate to many programs. One of those, of course, the DACA program that was saved by the courts, huge increase in immigration fees, which impose another heavy burden on people that want to do regularize their situation, and and together with that is the problem and the risk for undocumented people to be arrested, to be deported, to be stopped. And this is our community is afraid, and it's happening more and more every day. Um, with the deportations order, with arrest orders, with rights in working place. So we are going to talk about this one. What are your rights? What you can do about it, what you can do to protect yourself, what is recommended that you do and want not to do. And this is important. Not know your rights, meaning be powerful. You only will be able to protect yourself if you know what you're doing and what your rights are. Okay, so we will be talking about this one. Know your right, be prepared, what to do and what not to do. Let's start. Um, this is a country of law. Whatever the situation may be, or the rhetoric from the administration against immigrants could be, we're still a country of law. And everybody, including undocumented people, has right in this country. Okay, it's not that you don't have document, you have less right than other people. You don't. You have the same rights, and knowing those rights will help you to navigate and to live in a different way without fear at what something can happen to you or to your family. Um, let's talk about this one. Knowledge, I said, and we said, is power. And knowing what to do, knowing what your rights are, and be prepared, and what it means to that, about what it means to be prepared. This is a sample of a car that they didn't put it in the correct color, but
Claudio, sorry.
yes.
Sorry,
Can
we
you
can't
see?
see your screen.
You can't? Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Let me
Sorry.
see. Oh, I saw that it was okay. Here we go. Can you see it?
Yes, it's loading.
Oh, okay,
Perfect,
fantastic.
perfect.
This is a car that is known as a red car. And it's not red in the screen, but it's a red car. And simply said, what are your rights? Many immigrants has this card in their wallet because if you are stopped by even the police, but the immigration authorities, this is what you can use and set. And one important thing, maybe the most important is, and you know this one from TV or movies, and we say, don't talk. If you are stopped, remain silent. Why? Well, because anything, that everything that you say may and will be used against you in a court of law or in immigration. So the main point, the first point is exercise the right to remain silent. And this is what you have to do. Do not talk, don't say anything. You have the right to remain silent. And this card said simply, please be informed. This is for the officer that may stop you. Informed that I'm choosing to exercise my right to remain silent. I'm also exercising my right to refuse to sign anything until my attorney review it. If I am detained and request to contact my attorney immediately, my attorney contact information, etc. And this is why it's so important. They have several points here. The first one is remain silent. You don't have obligation to say anything. The second is don't sign, and this is important. We are going to be in different scenarios what to do each time, but many people, they provide with some paper or documentation, sign here, sign that. Do not sign anything unless you are completely sure and convinced that there's something you understand and this is not against you. But you don't have an obligation to talk. You don't have an obligation to sign anything or to provide information. Of course, you always have the right to call an attorney if you have one, or your organization, an organization that like TODEC that may help. Okay, so let's see the different scenarios. We are going to talk about what happens if they go to your home, or they stop you in the street when you go into your car, or they go into a place of work, or if you are in a car. Those four scenarios in which something may happen. And let's start with home. Uh, Two ways to enter your home. If authorities go in the 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, knock in the door, they can only get inside your house if they have a warrant, an order signed by a judge, court order, that authorize them to go in. And the other way, if they don't have it, is that you let them in. You are authorizing them to go inside your house. So the question is, as we said before, don't talk, remain silent. If somebody knock on your door, do not open the door. Don't do it. So you have the right, first of all, to verify if they have a warrant. So the first thing is, who is it? And show me the warrant that you have to enter into my house. And many people say, well, I'm not an attorney. How I will know how to read all those documents? It's not that difficult, because what we asked to do is not to understand the order, but at least see that your name is on it or your address is on it. And because they may mistake the house and they have the address of a different house or the name of a person that is not in your house. So those are the things that you need to see, not to understand the entire complexity of the order. And this one is also ask for the identification of the people. Those guys, first of all, most of the time they show up in plain clothing, not like a police. They are not police. They are immigration enforcement officers. And sometimes they knock on the door and they don't identify themselves. They say, well, there has been an accident in the area. We need to go in to see. Don't open the door to anybody and ask for people to identify themselves, okay? So this is really important because, again, assuming that they have a warrant, but maybe the warrant is defective, if you let them in the house, you are authorizing them to work and you are like fixing the mistakes on the errors that that order may have. So don't talk, remain silent, do not open the door, and do not consent. And this one, I will talk more about what it means consent. Well, consent means that you are authorizing the officers to do a particular job or to search or to do something in your house. let's talk about this one. There are two type of warrants or court orders, a search one and a arrest one. And it's very important the difference. The arrest one, okay, is also the elements are the same, they need to be signed. And that's what you check it out on that arrest warrant. Well, if they're looking for you, you're looking for your name or the name of somebody in your house, okay? So because if the name of somebody else or somebody that you don't know, this is the wrong house, okay? So this is very, very important for you to check it out. As to the search warrant, they have an element that they say, oh, of course, checking out that the address is correct, and have a signature. But more important, that they have the area that they are authorized to search on. And why I said this? Because they can came into your house and they start searching and looking out around the house. Maybe the orders are only that they can look, for example, only on the kitchen area. Doesn't matter why, but the court order sometimes said specific areas to be searched. So check it out for this, because if they say only that is the kitchen area and they want to go inside your bedroom, they are not authorized to do that. This is why you always have to say, no matter what they show you, you do not consent to do anything. You don't provide your consent to search. If they have an order, they can act according to the order. But this is important. Remain silent. Do not open the door. Do not consent. Do not say, okay, do this one because they asking you. And of course, we said before, do not sign anything, okay, to acknowledge. So this is important to know that you have the right to do those. The house is your domain and they only can go in a proper way. And this is also really important. Many people, they may have an order to a warrant for deportation, a removal order against you or somebody in your house. Does not mean that they can go in your house to take that person. This is why normally what will happen, they are waiting outside the house. And you can see that maybe through the windows, they are outside or they waiting until the person leave the house, go, for example, to their car and they stop them on the street. So understand that having a deportation order doesn't mean that they have an authorization to enter your house. So, okay, so keep in mind that that situations because will protect you and your family. Um, if the officers are in your house, inside your house, because they already have an order, let's say, or you let them in, doesn't matter. Couple of things. Remember one thing, they are not coming one guy with an envelope to show you. It's not the main man, okay? There are normally 5, 6, 7 guys armed with weapons that show up in your house at very early in the morning or at night and looking for something and to execute a particular order. So they're dangerous people and dangerous situations. The situations are really stressful and really traumatic. The first thing that you have to do if you have, like it said here, inform them if there are children in the house, elderly people or sick people in the house. One thing to keep in mind, they care about their security. They don't care about your security. So any situation that could pose for them a sense of insecurity or danger is danger for you. So make it clear then who is in the house, which situation, etc. Again, do not consent to any search. Doesn't matter if they have the order, because maybe that order, like I said before, is defective. So don't cooperate, don't help them to do their job or to fix their problem. Pay attention what they do. And this is an important item that I want to talk about. They say, write down what happened. So take note. Another thing to do this one is you can record. You have your telephone or filming what they doing. The first question is, do I entitled by law, do I have the right to do it, to film them? The answer is yes, you do. It's an absolute right for you to film, to record the activities in your house when they go in to the police. This is the first thing. So of course, the recording is much better sometimes of taking notes, right? Because something you forget. But what is the problem sometimes with that, the filming? Remember what I said, that this is a very traumatic situation and the security is an issue. They are done. The idea is not to create any danger situation that may be perceived by the officers as a danger for them. So what I try to say, well, maybe you have your telephone in the back of your pants or whatever it is, and you make a movement and take the telephone out. Be careful what you do that when you film it, because anything can be, it can be perceived as a danger to them. So sometimes this is why, well, if you don't have the telephone in your hand already, or those kind of things, be careful what you do. Okay, it's an issue of act reasonable, not to create situations of that they can perceive as dangerous. Okay, and the other thing is not only the film, a recording is a evidence to show if they did something wrong or they act unlawfully. A note, maybe they leave the house, they took somebody from the house, you go to a neighbor, to somebody that see what happened, you can take note or you film him after that. So it's not the only option that you have to record what happened. Um, and the other thing here, keep in mind always the issue of security. So we talk about what happened in the house. So what happened in the street? I told you sometimes they don't have the order to go inside the house, they wait outside and they approach you in the house. What do you do? Well, the first thing is you don't know. First of all, do not run. Do not run those guys because you won't be, first of all, I told you, it's not one guy that is approaching to you. There are several of them, 5, 4, 5, 6 guys all together. So don't run because there's no place to go. The second is you can ask them if they approach to you and they stop you and say, can I leave? Why? Because maybe it's in the street, maybe they're approaching somebody else or it's a confusion, whatever it is, ask them, can I go? And they say, no, we need to talk to you. Okay. So the first thing is remain silent. You have the right to remain silent. Don't say anything. Okay. Don't say anything. In some states, here in California, for example, you don't have even the obligation to identify yourself. And this is important. In some states, you have to. If they approach, they say, well, show me an ID. In California, you don't have to show anything. And what happened in other places, they say, well, you are interfering with our job, it's obstruction of justice, BS, nothing to do with this. In California, it's legal for you not to identify yourself, to refuse to show ID. You don't have an obligation. There are some exceptions, except if you are in a car, that we are going to talk about that one. But in the street, you don't have to identify yourself. Um, and if they want to search you, the same thing like I said before in the house, do not consent. Don't say, yeah, I'm okay, I'm okay for you to search me, whatever. Do not consent. If they have an order, they have reason, probably cause or whatever it is that can be authorized to do, they're going to do it anyway. But don't help them. This is the point. Something really important, it has to do with identifications. Never ever take with you a foreign document, a passport, a consular identification. Do not take it with you. And why I'm saying this? First of all, because it's a maybe understood as an evidence that you don't have other documents. You are in a stat, you don't have legal status. But more important, in California, you don't need it. If you are undocumented, you have the right to obtain a driver license or an ID legally. You don't have to have the passport of your country of origin or any other documentation. Go and get your ID or the driver license in California. The only thing that you need is the identification number, tax identification number, because you don't have a social security. So this is the new law in California. Never ever take foreign documentation with you, unless you are a tourist and you have a permit or is the only identification that you have as a tourist. But if you live in California, you are a resident of California, you don't need it. So get your ID or driver license from the state, okay? So we covered the house, we covered the street right now. What happened if you are in the workplace? You heard all the time that those guys, ICE, in, uh, Immigration Custom Enforcement, they're dependent of the Department of Homeland Security. It's like the police, the immigration police. So they conduct raids all the time in working places. They go in and they arrest people and stop people. What happened here with the right to enter into the workplace? Well, the same thing like happening at home will happen at your working place. In this case, the difference is you have nothing to say about allowing them to go in. Or they have the bench warrant, a warrant, a search warrant, an authorization to go in, or like in the house, or in the house, you open the door and let them in. In the workplace, is the employer the one that authorized them to go in. Okay? And this is the same thing. But lucky for us in California, there is prohibited to the employers to do that. And they have some other regulations that force the employers, if they are contacted by ICE, to notify the employees, the union, and the representative. So it's important. But the point is this: if they get inside the working place, again, don't run. Do not run, because it's not one guy that came to develop an envelope. There are many, many guys outside and inside the perimeters to work. Don't run, make things worse. Okay. And again, the most important: remain silent, do not consent, don't sign anything. And one important thing: how to be prepared for those situations. Well, we said you can keep information. First of all, organize with your co-workers. Make a plan, make maybe a representative that know if something like this happened, how you guys will act, how maybe you have a union and you can contact them, or you have an attorney that can be contacted by one people. Remember, could be really, really traumatic situations, right? So if you are organized and be prepared for those type of situations, it's important to do it. Select somebody, help them get phone numbers, information, whom to contact. So the working place, like I said, having a plan will help you protect you and your co-workers. Sit down, select somebody, and say, this is what we're gonna do, who will going to call to ask for help. Make sure that at the working place, everybody knows their right. Remain silent, don't cooperate, do not help them, do not consent. Make sure everybody knows also the plan, who is the representative, who is going to call. If you are a member of a union, speak with your representative. The idea is, whatever you do, is do something to be prepared, to know if that happened, what you're going to do after that, what happened with your family, what happened with your kids, those kind of things, okay? And this is the basic of preparation to what is one, having your wallet, as I said before, that red card that says, where are your rights? You can have another card which have some telephone numbers important. Maybe the consulate telephone, or the union, or the attorney, or your family, or a friend, somebody that will know and will take care of the situation. I will take about this one more in detail a little later, but make a plan with the kids. What happened if they arrest you? What happened with your family? What happened with the kids? School, payments, those kind of things. This is the meaning of being prepared. So we get to the fourth scenario, right? Home, street, working place, now in a car. Remember that I told you, in the street, you don't have an obligation to identify yourself. But if you're driving a car, you have an obligation to show driver's license, registration, insurance, etc. But and the same thing, don't lie and never ever provide fake documents. This is, again, no reason to have it. In California, you have no reason whatsoever to have any fake document or a foreign document. If you are a resident, you live here, go and get your official documentation, driver license or ID. So you don't need anything like that. And lying, of course, look, if they are looking for you, it's because they know maybe everything about you. Your criminal history, your immigration history, they know. This is why they have an order and go to try to catch you. If they want to search the car, maybe they don't have an order, but they by law, some situations they can do it anyway. But you said, no, I do not consent. I'm not authorizing you to search my car. Again, they can do it anyway. You don't care about this one. This is your position. Do not say, remain silent, do not consent. Okay? This is important on the car. What happens if the car, you are a passenger in somebody else's car? Well, the first thing, if you are approached or you were stopped, ask if it's regarding to you. Is it, can I leave? Maybe it's the driver that they are looking for of this particular car. So that's the first thing. Ask them, this is about me. Say, yes, it's about you, stay in the car. Okay. Do not, again, do not run. Those situations in which it can put you in peril because dangerous situation. Don't run. There's no way to go. Okay, no place to go. Um, and again, the same thing. Even if it's not your car, the same situations. The car is not yours, so the issue of searching you don't care. But it's about you. Don't talk. Remain silent. Do not consent. Those kind of things. So we have those four situations covered: what to do, what not to do, what to say or what not to say. Now you are in jail. They arrest you, they stop you, or you are right now in an immigration detention center, whatever it is. So, uh, and even if it's not, and this is really important, remember the consequences of criminal acts or situations, criminal situations, that they have or may have an impact, the consequences in the immigration world, okay, in the immigration universe, is different. So arrest charges, and this is important, arrest charges and convictions. But sometimes only arrests that can have consequences in the immigration universe. Why? Well, because you can be arrested and charged with somebody and then case dismissed for whatever reason. For immigration purposes, sometimes it's enough that you were arrested and charged. Because maybe you were dismissed because of a technical issue or not enough evidence, whatever it is. For immigration, they don't care. So be very careful because the consequences of criminal activity they have different consequences for immigration universe that for the regular criminal world. Okay. Um, so if you are arrested or detained, you have the right to remain silent. Again, don't talk. You have the right to a phone call. You can call, and if this is important, call your family or call an attorney or call an organization, whatever it is. And on the phone call, this is very important because people, you know that there's sometimes they don't have any information. So what are the important things to say? So where are you? If they gave you any paperwork, what is the situation? Where they have you arrested or detained? That information pass if you are okay physically, those kind of things for your family or the person that you call knows about it. So this is important. Again, do not discuss your immigration status or any information, not only with the police or the immigration officer, but we're talking about also police situation. Do not talk about that one, or do not talk with anybody. Sometimes they put you somebody in the cell with you, right? And they can listen in. Don't talk about those kind of things. Nobody have to know if you are in the hands of the police or the sheriff. It's nothing to do with immigration. Has to do with some suspicion of criminal activity. So don't talk about your immigration status. And the other thing is, like I said, remain silent. You have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to refuse to talk and refuse to sign anything. Do not sign anything that you don't understand. If you have the possibility to speak with an attorney, do it. If you don't, you have to read it. Sometimes you say, well, sign here because you're going home and came back for a hearing. Well, you can, if you can read it, you understand. But if you don't do it. Don't sign, don't accept what they tell you. This is the important thing. Uh, Immigration center is exactly the same situation like in the jail, right? You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to for a phone call. Um, you have the right to speak with an attorney. Don't sign anything. Don't discuss the immigration status. And this is important. Request copies of all documents. They show you. They have. Keep a copy. The family later, even when you speak with them and say they don't have anything, and they say, okay, I call an attorney, call me, and I start asking, what is the identification number? What is it? Do you know what happened? No. Do you know where he is? No. Is he arrested? He has an order of deportation? I don't know. Keep those documents, and if you can, pass this one to the persons, to your family, to a friend, to somebody, for them to have, to know exactly what is going on. So I will try to resume this idea. What are the 12 things for you and your family to remember and to do, okay, on any of those situations? And this is important because we'll make your life easy. We never know what is going to happen. Uh, One thing that, look, for sure, people say, well, can I be stopped in the street just because? In the real world, it's possible, but not likely. They know when the immigration goes out and go to your houses because they have something. They have it's not that if a neighbor make a phone call and say, I have an undocumented person living with me. Or many people say, somebody threatened me to call immigration. It's not such thing. They will not act. And that's why unless there is something violence, criminal activity. But if they got to you, it's because they have something on you, a deportation order, a removal, whatever it is that they may have. So what you do to be prepared? Let's talk about this one. Again, remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you. So don't talk. Remain silent. If you wish to remain silent, say it out loud. Don't keep it to yourself or don't say, I don't want to talk, or I want an attorney, or in a situation. Remember, in immigration, not always will give you the right to an attorney paid by the state. If you have one, you can bring it. But always, and this is, I mentioned it before, always carry with you only US identification documentation. Do not take with you ever, it's not necessary. Do not take foreign passport, consular cards, documents of any kind different from other countries. Don't do it. You don't need it in California, and is a problem, could be a problem. Okay, so don't do it. Of course, for the same reason, never carry false documents. Okay, because you don't need it. What documents, what fake documents can you need here? And the fake ID or a fake green card? What do you think, that they don't know that it's a fake green card? So don't never carry fake documents with you. Never lie. And this is important because people say, well, they don't know. They know. And if they don't know, they may find out the truth. So don't lie. Remember one thing, people need to understand that some incident, some history of criminal activity, whatever it is, or immigration violations, can be resolved. You can obtain pardons, you can obtain waivers. So the fact that there's something happened in the past that carry you, attorneys all the time, we file for suspension of deportations, cancellation of removal, those kind of things. And it's on people that they already have deportation orders. And we file it all the time. And many times we obtain that cancellation, that removal or that deportation order is canceled, and or we obtain a waiver for the person to do and to so doesn't assume that doesn't assume, don't assume that anything that happened in the past will be forever in a block to what you can do. Okay, so this is why don't lie, don't make things worse. You have the right to speak with an attorney if you have one. See, many organizations like TODEC, I'm the attorney for the organization. We have a credit representative that sometimes, many times, they are authorized by the Department of Justice to, for example, to go to court, to do all those places to help you out. So speak with your organizations, with your church, with your, even the consulate. The consulates, they have some of them great programs that help in the community in those situations. So number of guys on hand. Never run in a raid, or if you're approached by an officer. I told you, there are many guys, much more than one. They will catch you. There's no way to go, nowhere, no place to go. This has to do with, well, common sense also, but the issue that I mentioned about security, do not ever fight or resist arrest. If you are in that situation, it's over. They let them to do their job. They will arrest you, they will detain you, and they will take you over. Do not resist, because it will make things worse and very dangerous. Again, you are the same way that you have the right to remain silent, you have the right not to consent to anything, you have the right to refuse to sign anything. Don't do it. Do not sign before you speak with an attorney or before you understand 100% that what you're going to sign or what you have in front of you. This one I mentioned again is repetition, but it's important. Do not discuss immigration situation with anybody. Cellmate or the police, or they asking you, don't talk. Just don't talk about those things. If you are questioning a rate, and this has to do coming back to what we were talking about, the filming, the recording, the same thing. Take down notes. It's important to then remember or know details of what happened many times. Those, when you get an attorney, will help you. We need to know if the officers acted in an illegal way. Many times, because they act illegally, they can, help us to help you, because some things can be eliminated, whatever it is. So take note, know what happened. So the issue of be prepared against, take action. What it means? Find if you have an attorney or an accredited representative, like I mentioned, organization like TODEC that will help you out. Do it, be in contact with our organization or with attorneys. Get screened. This is so important. I don't get tired of repeating and repeating. Remember that the services of TODEC, for example, they are absolutely free. If you go to our website, you make an appointment. There are limited legal services that we provided. I told you before, nationalization, if you want to become a citizen, renovation of green card, and DACA. We are not a law firm. We are not taking cases, family cases, those kind of things in general. But what we do is screening, diagnostic, meaning you make an appointment because you have an history, you want to talk to an attorney, you will talk to me. And I will ask you, what is your history, how you entered the country, how many years you here, what happened with your family, etc. There are many ways to do it. This is what's so important, that you know your options and your history. So get screened. And this is really important because, I will go back for a second to that issue, that why it's important to get that screening for immigration purposes. Let me go the other thing that you can do. Register with your consulate, church, or other community or religious center. We said, have somebody to contact if something happened, or have your family that have somebody to contact if something happened to you. Make a family plan. Make a child care plan, meaning what happened with the kids? What happened if both you and your wife got taken away? What happened with the kids, with whom they are going to go? If you have the ability to save some money, keep some, doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, some money to have it in case of an emergency. Keep it in that way. Make copies of immigration papers and give it to somebody if you have, your family. If something happens, somebody else has those documents and may inform an attorney like me of your situation, okay? Make sure everybody in your family knows their rights. Make sure of that. It's important. Um, Let me go back for a second. I said, why to get screened or diagnostic on immigration? Because there are many options that people don't know. Many options to obtain legal status in this country. Many. And even if you are undocumented, even if you are enter the country without inspection, you have the family immigration petitions, right? Get married, parents, sons, siblings, etc. So family petition. People in the military that they have different type of options. Victims of crimes or the domestic violence, what is called BAGWA, opportunity. People that were victims of crime in the street, uh, those kind of things. TPS, many and working opportunities. For example, DACA, that is a plan with the youngest people, the hundreds of thousands of professionals that they have a status in DACA that are protected, but doesn't lead you to a green card. Many of those people are professionals in different industries. Maybe they can obtain legal papers, green cards through their employers. So get screened and see what your opportunities may be. It's important. It's free. We don't charge for those screenings, so you can do it at any time. Okay. Information you must memorize and to know. Sometimes, in times in this era of cell phone, nobody remember or memorize anything. I don't. So, but in any event, it's not that difficult. Get a small card and put it in your wallet. Some telephone number, consulate, church, attorney, your friend, your family, somebody. You can keep it with you, okay? Um, if you ever has some type of immigration paper, a working permit for in some place, you will have a what is called a number. The A number is like the social security number for immigration purposes. So identify you with immigration authorities. It's very important to have this number, to know that number if you have it. Because that number will remain also with you all the time, okay? Know your story and let people to know when you entered into the country, your immigration status, etc., your criminal history. Another thing that you can do with us that we can check out, help you to do it with this live screen. If you have criminal incidents in the past, so you can check it out and have your history, what happened, to know. Because I said, not every crime, not every criminal situation will have immigration consequences. Not everything. That some of them became irrelevant or they are not important. So do those two things. Okay. If someone called from detention, and this is maybe also will help to organizations or college like you, if you have a student that called, what is the thing that you have to know? You check it out at least if you can help. Check out where they are, what is their situation, why they stopped them, why they arrest them, if they provide any type of documentation, if they have an attorney, those kind of things. You can help out because they will help out also the family or the attorney that intervene in the case, if it's the case, to know a little information about the situation. Okay, so this is more or less. I hope that this was clear enough. The idea is to have a different scenarios and what to do in each of them. I hope that this help you guys. And if anybody has any question or want to comment something, please back to Suzanne.
Thank you, Claudio. That was great. Do any of our viewers here have any questions for Claudio?
I was wondering about the legal services. Does TODEC refer to lawyers that they can recommend or work with?
Yes, we do it if there are situations in which we cannot handle, we are not authorized to do it. We will try to give you at least different, refer to different attorneys that normally they work with our organization. This has nothing to do with us, but many of them, if you are, I don't know, sometimes they can help financially or doing some type of work But yes, the answer is yes. We are going to refer you, at least provide you with some information on attorneys that can work. But remember, look, it's the important thing is immigration attorneys, and this is a fact. People say, well, it's so expensive, or so. Everything is expensive. Services, and everybody have telephone that costs $1,000, or cars. Immigration attorneys always will try to work with you because most of the people have problem with payment plans. So don't don't stop doing or searching for help because only of the financial aspect. Okay, always check it out and see what the options are.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Remember what I said, that TODEC is simply go to our website if you have questions, if you want to do a consultation with me, simply make an appointment online and we can do it via Zoom at any time. It's very easy. And, I can respond your personal questions in a private setting.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudio, for being here today and presenting a Know Your Rights workshop for Undocumented Student Week of Action. I just want to remind everyone on the call here that we have tons of events still happening today and tomorrow. We have a film screening tonight, and then also Community Organizing 101 with a rep from TODEC later today. So if you're able to join that, visit our Week of Action website at msjc.edu/dreamers/week of action for all the links to join these events. Thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you at our events today and tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Suzanne.